school board has been hearing from concerned community members, family members, regarding the continued requirement to have students and staff masked. They decided late last week to do a special board meeting last night at 5:30 via Zoom. It was done via Zoom primarily out of convenience. Normally our board meetings are in person, to speak to and to address the continued masking requirements for staff and students.
Of course, today was the first day of masks being optional for students and staff. Can you talk to me about the response that you've gotten from students and or staff?
Thus far, all we're hearing from is very positive. Not only positive from our students and staff, but positive from school districts across the state. Actually, there was a text that was shared to me from one of our high school students. Texted it to her mom, who shared it with me, and it's a high school student that's a pretty shy young lady, and she was, I guess, awestruck, dumbfounded by everybody walking into the buildings without masks. This is something that hasn't happened since the first part of March 2020, so it's been a long time, and she was just overstruck with joy that people could actually see her smile, that she could actually see other people smile and respond to her smiling. So
yes or no, are you in favor of the board's decision?
I support my board and I support my community. You know, we strive as a leadership team, myself and the board, to partner with not only our staff but also our community. The requirements that have been put upon us have made that very, very, very difficult. And I support my board, I support my community, I support our staff.
So with that, of course, now the state is getting involved and you guys were served a warning, you know, with talking to that support of the board, supporting the community, what's next for Kettle Falls?
I've been on the phone with Superintendent Reichtel twice today. Both conversations were very positive. He understands the very difficult position that school boards are in. We did get the first warning letter. We received that this morning, which we were expecting. We have until the end of this month to be in compliance. If we're not, they will begin withholding funds on March 7th. When I say withholding funds, they're not penalizing us. They are just holding our apportionment. As soon as we get back in compliance, whether that's because Governor Inslee is no longer requiring masks or because we put masks back on, we get that apportionment back. So, you know, we are, like everybody across the state, we are anxiously waiting. What we're being told is going to be an announcement on Thursday. And we will really be able to plan on how we're going to move forward after Governor Inslee makes his announcement.
So then, to my understanding, supporting the board's decision comes because there's like, you guys are predicting that within this 20-day period that Governor Inslee will bring down the indoor mask mandate. Is that kind of what you're saying?
We are hoping that Governor Inslee will provide some relief to all of the school districts and all of the businesses within the state soon, whether that's, you know, before the beginning of March or somewhere mid-March. You know, everybody in the state needs to be able to make their own choice when it comes to wearing masks. And really, that's what our board said. Our board didn't say we're anti-masks. The board said everybody needs to be able to make that choice for themselves. If Governor Inslee's timeline is mid-March, that would be after OSPI would have started withholding our apportionment. So in order to continue not wearing masks, we would need to be able to rely on some of our cash reserve to get us through until we receive that apportionment back.
If Governor Inslee does bring down the indoor mask mandate, that apportionment will come back to you?
Yeah, we'll get apportionment when we are in compliance, whether it's because of a change in Governor Inslee's requirements or whether it's because we put masks back on. As soon as we are back in compliance, then we would get that apportionment back. Yeah.
Why now? Why support this now when things may be getting to the end of this pandemic? Maybe.
Board member McKern spoke to this yesterday in his statement, and our community, as well as Board member McKern, is tired of being told that there's an announcement coming, being told that there's a change coming, and that change not coming, or that change coming later, and it's one of those things where the community and Board member McKern are tired of what they feel like is Governor Inslee, I guess, teasing them with impending announcements or impending changes that never seem to be realized.
What has been the response on the other side of things? Because of course, with these conversations, there's always two sides. So have you heard from any parents or students on the other side of things who are, not as in support of the board's decision?
We have heard from a few people, not very many, but there have been a few people that voiced their support for maintaining masks. That one concerned parent even raised concern about the potential that Governor Inslee might make them optional. We haven't heard from a lot of people that are supportive of maintaining the mask requirement, but we have heard from a couple.
How much does the school rely on monthly apportionments?
We can only survive 4 to 6 weeks without our monthly apportionment. We financially, Kettle Falls School District has done a good job of maintaining a healthy cash reserve that would allow us to keep our doors open if apportionment was withheld for 4 to 6 weeks. But beyond that, there aren't a lot of school districts around the state that are in a position where they can maintain keeping their doors open and keeping their employees and their bills paid beyond that level.
Right, absolutely. And actually on that note, I wanted to ask, being the superintendent of the first school district to kind of make this decision, what are your thoughts on being kind of the first to lead this charge, if you will?
I don't look at it like that. I know that's the reality. For us, we're responding to the needs and the wants of our community. Whether we're the first school board to do that or not, the drive was our community's needs. So I don't look at it like we're the first school district doing this and setting any kind of an example. The example that we want to set are for our students and our families.
And then define those community needs that you saw to make or support this choice.
Communities that our families were concerned just about the mental health of our students, having to maintain the mask, the speech language development for many of our students, the social interactions, the social needs that our students have not being met, and we have a lot of community members who feel that their parental rights were being infringed upon because ultimately it's their choice whether or not their students are wearing a mask or not wearing a mask.
So you mentioned being able to survive 4 to 6 weeks kind of on that cash reserve that you talked about. If Governor Inslee does not issue some sort of indoor mask mandate falling within that 4 to 6 weeks, does that mean then the district will have to go back to wearing masks?
I'm not going to predict that. I'm not going to project that. That'll be a conversation between myself and the school board, and ultimately that decision would rest with the school board. The pandemic has been extraordinarily divisive in every community. It certainly has been in Kettle Falls. Our school board, our staff try really hard to team with our families and our community members, and the pandemic has made that very, very difficult. Hopefully, the decision that was made at last night's board meeting starts to bring that team back together.